Hello everyone, this is Oblivion and welcome back to another episode of Liminal Industries. So you'll notice I changed my starting point, and you'll also notice that instead of having all of the gauges over here, they're all up on this wall, which I found was a lot easier, and I basically put it there just for the thumbnail, and it looks really good. So, in last episode, we automated most of the components for the heavy engineering frames. We still haven't done like mana glass and that sort of thing, but I think they're automated to a point where it's good enough. So, additionally, between episodes, I did get a little carried away as to what I was doing. The first thing I did was make a stressometer, and then I noticed that we didn't have that much capacity remaining. I think we had about 10,000, and so I decided to like completely redo the steam engine. So it was just a, what is it, 2x2x5 right here. And so I decided to move them around the corner, make a little platform over here. And now instead of just one 2x2, we also have two 3x3s. You'll notice that this one isn't currently activated with like all of the burners and stuff, but this one is running and we have enough steam engines at this point. And the thing is about SU is that it consumes the fuel whether you need the power or not. So since we're not overstressed at the moment, I just figured leaving those unlit is fine. But one of the important things that I wanted to do is that the output power goes into a speed controller, and now the whole of the factory is running at the 256 RPM. So we have this feeds over the top into the other side, so that's the input side, and then the output side goes into the pumps, and it also, the power is being transferred through this belt, and then through all of our pulp and cardboard manufacturing, and then to this guy. And then so if we do end up with a power outage, I can just remove this, and then the rest of the factory will be disconnected, and just this little sub network will be able to be powered, just so I can jumpstart it really easily. Additionally, I found out that I didn't need to do a crafter, because bamboo blocks can just use the compacting recipe to do that. So we have a nice little compacting setup which just replaced the old setup. Additionally, I was having issues where the bamboo blocks were taking all of the bamboo before I could get pulp. So I was trying to turn the power back on, but the bamboo blocks were taking all of it. So I just have this here where it's like, if there's more than one unit in here, it will disable this funnel, so we're not going to craft any bamboo blocks. Additionally, if I go downstairs, I found that I wasn't producing enough bamboo. So, a nice thing about SNAD is that if you give it a redstone update, like from below, you can cause it to give more ticks to the plant above. So basically, when this clutch is running, so when it's active, this clock is running, so once per second it'll give all of the SNAD an update, and then it'll grow really, really quickly, which means that this farm is like significantly faster than what I'm consuming at this point, which is really good because I was having issues with having enough pulp and having enough bamboo logs. So that's all of the stuff that I changed up here. There's a few other things that I changed. So if I go over to the sawmill, I wonder if this is working. No, I haven't checked that. I'm worried that you can't automate putting the saw blade back in, so I'm hoping that this works. Anyways, previously I had these active if it's just one unit of power, but now I have it active if there's 2 units of power, because it was turning off every single time there was an output in here, but we only want it to turn off once it actually backs up, like it gets to here at some points, because the hopper isn't transferring fast enough. I tried using a chute, and chutes don't interact with comparators, so hopper is as good as it gets. Additionally, if we go downstairs, when I came down here last, this was still running and it was dropping wallpaper everywhere. So now I just have the same kind of setup where it's the comparator. If it goes over this amount, like this percentage of fullness, then it'll disable the clutch here. Pretty simple setup. But additionally, I had to reroute a whole bunch of stuff. So it turns out that the lead produces like a lot of pulp, like a stupid amount of pulp. This is full. This is 4,000 cardboard. I really should have made this into cardboard blocks, but I didn't have the foresight. So we now have 4,000 cardboard in a vault, and it's kind of backed up on pulp. But one of the things that I didn't do when I did the lead dust is I didn't actually smelt it. So we just have a little blasting set up, and we have an item vault here with 2,000 lead ingots in it, which is amazing. Additionally, in the last episode, I put the rose quartz crystallizer there, which honestly wasn't the best place to put it. So I routed our redstone acid out that way, and now we have a much easier accessible rose quartz setup. And also, instead of constantly putting 10 in here, I have it so that if the if the requested amount is 10, it'll send 10 quartz dust to here, and then the quartz dust will turn it into rose quartz, and I have a diamond grit sandpaper here, and then I have the filter here, so it'll just wait there if there's no sandpaper in the deployer, and then we have polished rose quartz being provided to the network. So this is a much more robust method of doing it. Now, and then the next one, so previously my crafting machine was getting blocked up with a lot of crafts for shafts, small gears, and big gears. But now I have, out of this barrel is all of our ash alloy, and that gets cut down into shafts. And instead of using a full barrel, I've started using hoppers as like a smaller inventory. So we have 5 stacks of shafts, and then we have wood coming in the top here, and then we have 5 stacks of cogwheels and 5 stacks of large cogwheels, which is much easier and much more better in terms of the bulk production. And lastly, so we have 3 outputs on this. One of the outputs comes down here, and then a hopper in here into this deployer, and then we get ash alloy casings. So that was one of the things that every single episode I would just be constantly going into my backpack, grabbing ash alloy casing, grabbing cogwheels, making a ton of gearboxes. But now we have a very good supply of gearboxes, and in fact we only have 1 stack of regular cogs. We want to grab another stack of large cogs, because if I go to look at chain drives, we want to be able to craft some more of these. So we don't need that many. Let's just go with 20 for now, and that's going to be really good. We want to craft some more chains, so if I craft this, maybe that's enough. Let's go with 2 stacks actually. So 2 stacks, and then where's a iron ingot? There it is. And then we can turn those nuggets back into ingots. Now I can put all of my create stuff away, and then I have a really clean inventory. So now that I've caught you up as to what I did between episodes, we want to look at actually progressing through the pack. So the next things that are required, I am aware that it requires a blaze rod. So the first thing that we need to do in order to set up the oil setup is summoning a blaze. So as far as I understand, we have the lesser soul gems. We need some hot steel. So let's just keep a stack in our backpack if we want to do more summons in future. And then if we go over to here, we can grab out our heavy engineering blocks. I don't know why there's iron nuggets in there. Anyways, since I grabbed out the heavy engineering blocks, we should be able to see up here. They should really update this. So you can see how it's 2 out of 10. So now we're crafting some more. So if I go into my backpack, grab out 2 of these, grab one of those, one of these, and we need some charcoal. Do I have any charcoal, actually? So charcoal, no charcoal. I know where I can get some though. So if I go over to the coke oven, I should be able to see a bunch of charcoal in here, very nice. We just need 1, and we'll need a flint and flint. So flint, there it is. I think I also have another one which is almost ready to break. There it is. Has two durability. Okay, so let's go downstairs and summon a blaze, and then we can get going with the oil setup. So we come down here. Then we do this, this, and this. Summon the blaze. Oops. You got away from me. So we got one blaze. Is that it? Just one? Well, that's disappointing. How do I make the better soul gems? Soul gem. These ones. Ah, I see. So you need the crystallizer with the quartz dust. We should be able to do that, but I don't think we need to do it right now. Additionally, every now and then when I'm down here, I put some flammable things in here just to fill this up. That's actually getting pretty full. Nice. Now, time to make the pyrolyzer. So we want this guy. Do we have the nether bricks? We do. Do we have the machine frames? So we want blast chiller, machine frame, flux coil. We don't need this. Fractionating steel, induction smelter. This is basically just all of the stuff required for the next thing. Electronic components, that would be good. So grab some from there, put that in there, and then we should be able to craft this. Very nice. So, in theory, we should have most of chapter 4 done. So we have all those done. And now what we need to do is that we need to start getting the crude oil into the bitumen, and then the bitumen into the tar, and then we can send the tar back home. So, we might need some tanks. Let me have a check. So if I check on, we don't need that, don't need that. Actually, let's go look at these. So, creosote oil, no, bitumen. Bitumen comes from crude oil, heavy oil, and light oil. What can I do with the light oil? I can turn the light oil into sulfur, which actually might be pretty useful because you do need a good amount of sulfur. Let's look at the uses of oil. So regular old oil. This. So fractionating steel, heavy oil. Does heavy oil have a use? It does not. So the only thing we need is the light oil. So heavy oil, light oil. Light oil becomes this, fractionating steel. So we need 2 fractionating steels, one for the oil and one for the light oil. Is that what I'm understanding? I mean, I guess we could do that. So if I grab my heavy blocks, these crystals, heavy engineering frames. Do I have light engineering frames? I don't. Let's grab them out of here. And then I should be able to make another fractionating steel. So we need one of these. We need one of these. And then we need to place them down. Like this. Can't do that. And then we should be able to make one of these. Yep. So we have 2 of these, which is very nice. And then we have all that. We probably want to bring a bunch of copper and a bunch of copper plate. So we have the copper. Do we have any wood, though? We don't have any wood. So we should probably bring a bunch of this. Send that to request. Do we have any stock links? We only have a few. It's probably enough, but let's request some more. We want some item vaults. We want the stock links, like so. Do I want to grab some quartz dust for later? Not currently. Um, what else do we need? Drawing a blank. Let's put these away in here. We have all of this. Very nice. We can put those away in there, and then we can put this away in here. We want copper plate, that's right. We do not have many copper sheets. Is it because we don't craft many? No, we do craft. Oh, I think it's because it's consuming all of them from, yeah, the stock links require a bunch of copper sheets. So if I just stick, what is it? If I stick some stuff in the press, which is this one, and I should see a whole bunch more copper sheets come in. Thank you. And that should be enough. So we have stuff for tanks, we have stuff for item vaults, we have chain drives, which I'm going to be using to deliver the power over there. We have some cobblestone walls just for decoratives. We have all of these guys. Do we have alternators? That is a good question. Because we're going to need to turn the SU into this kind of power. So if I look for alternator, yep, we have an alternator. Very nice. Now, am I missing anything? Don't think I'm missing anything. Dimensional anchor is the... Ah, I see. Interesting. Maybe we want to do one of these just as a... Does it require power? It does require power. Do we want this as a chunk loader? Maybe we'll see if it needs chunk loading, because as far as I can tell, the oily carpet isn't that far away. See how fast it grows? As soon as it passes it, it's grown back already. Looks really cool. So next on the agenda would be grabbing a connection to this guy, and then probably bringing it right here. Are these not... These are even. Strange. Let's go like here. And then one from the ceiling, like so. Does this connect? It does connect. Very nice. And then we want to go connect this guy. And then this is odd numbered, right? Even. Is this one odd? This one is odd. So go to this guy. And now we are aligned to the rooms. Do I want to do walls? I don't think it matters. I'll do walls later. Grab the connection. Come over here. So that's an even number. That's an even number. This is the odd number because it's at a room junction. Too far. Okay, interesting. So we'll need to do ones between rooms, like so. So the next between room would be right here. And then we want to go to here. Oops. Do I have any more chains? I do. And then the next in between is here. And then the next one is here. And then the next one. And then we should be right here. And then we can go in here. It's interesting, it's not... the walkway isn't aligned too far apart, okay. What if I did one of these, and then one of these, and then we go this way to... Let's try this. I mean, it looks funny, I guess. Let me see. Oops. No. Actually, I forgot you could even do that. Let's go and do this and see if we can go all the way through the wall. Let's have a snack. I mean, if we don't go through the wall, it means that I can actually take this back to base, which would be convenient. Here. Nope. There. And then there's a hole in the ground. Yep. So... nice. So if I do this to there, then this to like here, not holding enough chains. Interesting. There we go. Now we have power right at the oily carpet. Very nice. So we can break all this, and then we should be able to do a deployer. Deployer is the one thing I'm missing. Do I cut away? I think I cut away. I will be right back when I get the missing deployer. Okay, so I haven't got the deployer, but I decided this is too fun not to show. As I said, it'd be fun to be able to just do this all the way back to base. Oh, you have to be holding the wrench. This is so cool. I think this is the thumbnail. Ah, maybe I should have done this properly. Let's go this way. Yep. Here to here, and here to here. Ah, blocked by the bamboo. It's close enough though. That was really fun. Where am I going? I'm going downstairs to get the living wood. Do I have any living wood? Where's my treated wood? Okay. Now we're just waiting on this. With the power of editing. Abracadabra. And what I didn't do last time, obviously, is put down a fresh batch. So we do this, and then we should do wooden hand. We got one of these, very nice. We have sponge, which is what we need for the... what is it? The oil. And then we should be able to do this all the way back. Oops. Don't scroll off your wrench. So it seems you need at least 3 blocks underneath you to do it properly. Anyways, we want to do this. Then we want to do this guy, this, this, do that, grab a sponge, where's my buckets? There they are. Do this, and then we want to do this like so, rotate it downwards, and then we want to do like a pump, like this and this. I probably already had one in the inventory. Then we have that. If I rotate it this way, actually no, if I do have it rotated this way, I can use one cog to do this. Maybe I want the tank on this side. So tank in here, and then we do 1, 2. We want some logs. I don't know how far into the episode we'll get with doing this, because as far as I can tell, we're up to like 23 minutes, 25 minutes, something like that. So we have some level of tankage. Let's actually do the full size thing. Very nice. Cool. And then if I get some power in here, we want to do a gearbox, vertical gearbox, put a block here so we can stand on, and then we want to do a shaft. Actually, we probably want to actually do a chain drive over there instead of doing shaft business, so that we can do the frog ports and stuff. So if I go over here and then we do something like this. The reason we need to have that one so low is because the angle from the one above is pretty sharp. And then we do vertical gearbox, and then we can do gears. Do I have any more? I do. Then we want this. Come on. How do I put it in you? Why can't I put... Nope, that's not what I wanted to do. How do I put you in there? Shoot? Hopper? Something. There we go. So now we have oil in here. It's very quick. Maybe we want to turn that off if it's full. Can I put a comparator on that? Maybe we want a threshold switch? Greater than like, I don't know, 30 buckets, less than 10. And then we want to do like a clutch. It is very loud. How do we want to do this? We want to do... It's kind of tough because we want this to be vertical or something. What if we did gearboxes? Like this? Where's another gearbox? There. And then this. Okay. It's certainly interesting. And then if I change this up to 70. Interesting. What's the total? 140. So if I do like 110 and then less than 70, it'll turn on. There we go. And then once it gets to 70, 75, should turn off again. Actually, no, it'll keep going. 100? Even just 90? There we go. So I was just checking that the thing turns off by itself. Awesome. So we now can do... What do we want to do? We want to do... probably pumps. If I look for pipes... How are we for time? I don't know. I think we're getting up there in time. I just want to do some of this. So... So we want... Can I separate these? Or do we need to use, like... Auto input? Interesting. I wonder, can I draw straight from this? Auto input. I can draw straight from it. Awesome. Now I should be able to do this, and then I should be able to do... Where is it? I want a wall. I want these guys. And I want LV, this. So we do that, this. 1, 2, 1, 2. That's annoying. Maybe we could do this kind of thing. 1, 2, 1, 2. No, apparently not. What about this kind of thing? 1, 2, 1, 2. There we go. So we are refining oil. I think that's a good place to end the episode. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.